Hello, my fellow movie fans and fellow movie collectors out there. My name is John, and today here on the channel, we're going to be talking about the state of film and the state of physical media. I thought there was no better time than now to check in on how physical media and film are doing and where we are going and how we can improve on it, because I don't know. Lately, movies in general, I've been very worried that they are really falling off. We talk about this a lot on Let's Talk Physical Media on Sundays, but I thought it was time to get in front of the camera and talk to you guys fully about how movies are doing right now, whether it be in theaters, on streaming services, or on physical media. And because it's a physical media channel first, let's look at the state of physical media, because physical media, I don't think it's doing that bad. There are some serious issues facing it, but it's actually, I think, getting better and better. The fact that we're getting more releases than ever. We have so many great boutique labels putting out all of these great restorations like Studio Canal, and then of course in the United States we'll get some of those great Studio Canal releases through the Criterion Collection. So some of the greatest films of all time, like The Third Man, have received great restorations, never look better. Now, of course, these cost money, and then these 4K Blu-ray releases, they definitely are affecting the consumer out there. Everything costs more. It's not just physical media, but these 4K Blu-ray prices over the last year, I've seen a huge increase, and I think it all boils down to Best Buy closing last year and Target not selling stuff in stores, and we've seen Amazon and Walmart kind of pick up that burden, but it really hasn't been such a smooth transition. We don't get as many sales anymore. Like, Amazon has had some sales. We've seen Barnes & Noble have some sales, whether it just be with the Criterion Collection like they've done in the past, Arrow Video, and then more recently they even had a Paramount sale, so the sales have been there, but not like how we used to get. And the sale prices, we used to get some 4K Blu-rays to fall under like the $10 price. Now they're really at the lowest I've seen is about $15, and sometimes it's just a little hard to justify when eggs cost what they cost and just eating costs what it costs. It's hard to justify going out there and grabbing a 4K Blu-ray that could cost brand new at the cheap end for $28. Like studios like Warner Brothers, that's usually what they cost, $28, and they stopped packing in the Blu-ray here in the United States. So you're just getting that 4K Blu-ray with a digital coder, and I wouldn't be surprised if that falls to the wayside too, because the major studios like Warner Brothers, Paramount, Universal, the major studios that are also producing the films themselves, they're always going to put out a release that's less than a boutique label because they don't really have as much care. They got deadlines to meet. They don't really hire the same kind of people who have the passion for the film. It's the same people working over and over again. Now, the thing with Warner Brothers I do have to commend them for is their transfers themselves have been better over the last year. Like last year we got North by Northwest and The Searchers on 4K Blu-ray, some of the best transfers that I've ever seen. So they're doing a great job with their visual and audio transfers. It's just that everything you get with it, it's hard to justify that price, because if you don't really get that many extras for $28, just one 4K Blu-ray disc, it feels a little bit bare bones. And for the collectors out here, if we can only buy one thing, $28 for that, or $35 for like a nice boutique level 4K Blu-ray, like say from Arrow Video or Criterion Collection, that they're going to give you more of the bells and whistles, give you the better packaging, so you're more than likely to go that route, because we're forced to choose nowadays with the way things cost. But like I said, we are getting more and more 4K Blu-rays, so we're not like in the same niche audience as vinyl. I still think, physical media has its place. I even think physical media might even find a bigger market with the way that streaming services are going right now, but physical media also has to pay attention a little bit more. After what happened this past week with Kino Lorber, that's something that should never happen. With a market like this that, we're trying to build the audience of physical media, you can't announce things like Dante's Peak and Daylight coming to 4K Blu-ray, and right before they come out, in the case of Daylight, it had already been released to some people. You can't pull the 4K Blu-ray and not give a reason. You emailed the people, you did the right thing, you said it was a production issue, but that kind of feels a little bit like bullshit, and then you're not really being honest with the consumers themselves about what the reasoning is. Now, people are just speculating. I received a comment that said that there was the same writer on both of the films, and they didn't have a contract with him, and he's asking for like boatloads of money for these, so that's why they pulled them, because it's not worth it for them to have to pay this writer and still release these 4K Blu-ray discs. So I imagine if that's the case, they're working out a deal with him, and then they'll get the 4K Blu-ray releases out there. But you should have all that stuff ironed out before this all happens. It's the same thing with Lost in Translation that was supposed to come to 4K Blu-ray from Kino Lorber as well. You announce that you're working on the restoration, people are waiting for it, and then you announce that you canceled it. And that's very disappointing. Now, I believe that the 4K transfer of Lost in Translation is going to end up with the Criterion Collection, but still, you announce this stuff to the fans, we look forward to this thing, and again, these cost a lot of money, so we kind of set the money aside for these to come to 4K Blu-ray, and then when it doesn't happen, or in the case of like Dante's Peak, I know people were looking so forward to that, now there's a lot of disappointment, and it's just kind of a black eye in the whole industry. Same thing with Arrow Video earlier this year, with their numerous issues on their transfers, and having to go through the disc replacement program, or even not acknowledging that there is is a real issue, even though other people have reported on there being an issue. You got to really just get in front of that and just acknowledge you made a mistake. But these mistakes need to stop happening. Quality control is a real thing. I understand that everything costs more, but the quality control, you have to have that in place before the product gets to the consumer, or else you're just going to keep having issues like this over and over and over again. And that really shouldn't happen, especially when this is an industry that you just want to see it improve. And to make headway with the movie fans, you really have to do a lot of work, because even just regular movie fans, not a lot of them are willing to collect physical media. So you really have to do the hard work, put out the great restorations, and make it affordable. That's the big problem when we also face theaters and streaming services. Streaming services like Netflix are paying a ton of money to make movies, like the Russo brothers' newest release, The Electric State. To have that movie cost $320 million. For what? Where'd $320 million go for that film? You're just paying the Russo brothers, who are still riding the coattails of the MCU with the Avengers films and Captain America Civil War and The Winter Soldier. Like, they, those movies, you could see that a good producer was in place. It's a lot like the WWF back in the days, where Vince Russo was a great mind, but he always was able to go through the filter of Vince McMahon to stop all the bad ideas. I feel like the Russo brothers have that real problem where they have a lot of ideas, but not all those ideas are great, and then we end up with bad films like this that shouldn't cost that much money, where people are saying that this is just background noise. That's ridiculous. And who's going to make up for that? It's the same thing like with Netflix buying WWE Raw now. They have a $1 billion deal with them. So that's $1.3 billion of cash that they have spent on stuff. And who do you think's paying for all that? It's going to be us, the consumers. That's why we have those slow, gradual price increases, not just from Netflix. You see it from Disney, you see it from Hulu, who is also Disney, you see it from Paramount. All of them keep increasing their prices, all because the movie industry in general isn't doing that good. It's a bleeding, dying industry, unfortunately, and I hate to see it, but unless they do something drastic, it's just going to keep happening. And what they're doing is they're just taking more and more from the fans. Netflix obviously has a lot more than just movie fans. There's obviously people who love Love is Blind and all of those reality shows that my wife likes, but we also have plenty of movies that just get stuck on Netflix that haven't come to Blu-ray or 4K Blu-ray that film fans love, and now we're stuck paying for a streaming service for stuff that we don't necessarily love. Same thing over there on HBO Max. Warner Brothers is the king of Looney Tunes. Without Looney Tunes, you probably wouldn't have Warner Brothers, but Max just announced that they're getting rid of all of Looney Tunes on their service. Why? Not entirely sure, but Warner Brothers is the king of making bad business decisions that affect the artist. Not necessarily the business of Warner Brothers, but definitely affect the artists themselves. And, this is the thing, though. We talk about Acme versus Coyote and how we want that movie released in theaters, but then look at theaters. Movie theaters are struggling as well. So we ask for these movies to get released in theaters, and then we don't know for sure if they're going to do good in theaters. This is where I have to turn the mirror around on us, because as the consumers, as the film fans, we're not necessarily supporting the movies that we say we want. A Looney Tunes movie came out in theaters this past weekend. Nobody went and saw it, just like they didn't go see the movies Novocaine or Black Bag by Steven Soderbergh. Movies we ask for all the time. We ask for these original films, like original ideas, non-IP films, but then as the film fans, we don't go out and see it. Now, it's not necessarily all the film fans' fault. The problem is that we aren't creating new film fans. There was a time that movies were at the forefront of pop culture. Everybody was going to the movies. That's where they went on dates. They went out with their friends. It's how I grew up, and I'm sure that's how a lot of you guys grew up, but we also had limited options. Yes, we came up during the time where video games were starting to get big, but we didn't have online video games yet. So movies were still huge, and you were going to the theater every weekend, and there was just a lot of casual film fans out there. And I think we've lost that casual film fan to short form entertainment, whether it be TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. I just think people prefer that short form entertainment, and obviously a lot of that is because of the cell phones. These weren't around back in the day. We just had a lot more limited options of entertainment, and because of that, films themselves just aren't doing as great. You have the older film fans, but we don't have as many young film fans, and we have to try and get them in theaters. You know what's not going to get them in theaters? Seeing the same exact generic movie over and over and over again that studios like Warner Brothers, Universal, Paramount, all these studios just keep putting out the same IP garbage, but they're going to keep doing that because that's still what makes money. Whether we want to admit it or not, sequels still make money. They might not make as much money as they used to. Look at how Brave New World's done this year, but they still make more money than movies that are original IPs, and that's really unfortunate, and that's just because the marketing doesn't do a great job. Also, Black Bag, Steven Soderbergh film, they marketed that movie horribly. Of course, it probably wouldn't have made as much money, and it did cost $50 million. I don't know if it's worth $50 million, but again, that's a mid-level budget film. We ask for those all the times. Those are the films we should be out there supporting Steven Soderbergh, a man who loves to make movies, kind of puts his money where his mouth is. He's always making those 90-minute tight films that we ask for, and we don't go out there and support it. Then you got a movie like this upcoming weekend, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, that has all this controversy around it. It's another Disney live-action remake, but it probably will make a good amount of money because people know that name. People know Disney. They, obviously pulled back a little bit on the marketing, but still, people know that name, and you hope that gets people in theaters just because we want theaters to stay in business. And it's going to be hard for them to stay in business if we're not out there supporting them. Now, theaters don't make this easy on the consumer either. Let's be fair on that. They are also a bleeding and dying industry, and they are sucking the movie fans dry to keep that business alive. Now, there are theaters like AMC and Regal who give you these plans so you can go see a certain amount of movies each week. It has a bunch of other perks. It's really a steal if you're a movie fan, especially the AMC A-list. I think it's about $25 now, but you can see 4 movies a week. You can see it in an Adobe theater, an IMAX theater, as long as it's local to you, because I know plenty of people around this country who don't even have those in their AMC theaters. And hopefully AMC, they have said they're going to be reinvesting that money to make their theaters better, so that movie fans can, when they go to the theater, you do want to see it in one of those high quality theaters, because unfortunately, it depends who you ask. Me personally, I love that we have these great home theaters, but these great home theaters are better than most lower price movie theaters, which really does hurt because it sucks to see those small theaters not do so well, but they can't afford to upgrade to IMAX and, Dolby theaters. But, theaters like AMC that have the money, that's what they should be doing. They should be spending money on these big IMAX and Dolby theaters, and then also be re-releasing, like they did last year, movies like Interstellar in theaters, or even go back, release Lawrence of Arabia in IMAX 70mm. Really put these beautiful movies from the 1950s, 1960s, 70s, and 80s and 90s on the big screen for these new fans, like you are going to be doing later this year with movies like Jaws celebrating its 50th anniversary, or celebrating its 35th anniversary, TMNT from 1990. That's what we should be concentrating on as well, and really market it, make it a big deal. That's the thing. If people start talking about it on social media, that's how you get the younger fans there. Get them talking about it, make it seem like a big event, and then you'll get them there, and you hope they fall in love with movies, and hopefully because of that you end up creating more and more film fans, and then of course that's how the business itself gets more recognition. But I am worried because it is a hard battle that they are fighting. You have to compete with video games and all of these short forms of entertainment, and even television right now. A lot of creators go to television, a lot of actors go to television. That's kind of where the money is, and it's not the same form of storytelling that it was back in the day. I know that you guys and myself, we don't want to see movies ever die. We don't want to ever see them disappear. They have to get rid of that very short theatrical window too. That's a pretty big deal. It used to be 90 days, and then because of the pandemic we knocked it down to 45 days. Now it's even less than that. Mickey 17 is going to streaming services on March 25th. You'll be able to rent it for $20. And again, I understand why people wait. We've trained the audiences to know that these movies are going to be coming to streaming services in a short amount of time, and to have a movie like Mickey 17, Bong Joon-ho, whose last film before this, Parasite, was a Best Picture winner, but this movie has taken about $100 million loss, they say. So Warner Brothers is trying to recoup as much money as they can. They know people have short-term memories, so they know that this movie's still, at least in the forefront of some people's mind. If you get it on a streaming service, they'll be like, oh, Mickey 17, I heard about that. I heard about that Robert Pattinson movie. And even if you just rent it for $20 at home, in their mind, it's still cheaper than going to the movies, where if you go with your significant other, it's at least a $50 date, especially if you went and saw that in IMAX, got popcorn. It can end up getting close to $100, $20 at home just to sit there, eat your meal. Maybe you're not paying attention as much as you would in the theater, but it does save you a little bit of money when the consumer is desperate to save money. So they really have to do a better job of lowering these prices. And I get it. Everything is about making money, and these businesses aren't doing that good. These movie theater businesses, these streaming services, the entire film industry in general. I just think we need to start concentrating on bringing in more movie fans first, and then we can concentrate on fixing all of these issues. But sucking dry the film fans is absolutely the wrong way to go, and it's not actually healing the wound. All you're really doing is putting a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. So you really have to do the work, try and make it more accessible for everybody. They have some great ideas. Let's just hope that they can nail it, and especially in the world of physical media, you got to do a better job with that quality control, or else you're going to lose fans that way as well. And I don't want to see movies die. I know you guys don't want to see movies die. They never will actually die, but we want to really bring this back to the forefront of entertainment and make people love movies again. Tom Cruise can't do it all by himself, guys. So that's what we have to do as film fans. We have to support him, and I get it. Everything costs so much, and these studios, these theaters, they have to do a better job as well of making things more affordable. But that's my rant. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'm going to kick it over to myself because it is also Tuesday, and it's time for the digital code giveaway. Hey everyone, just popping in at the end of the video for this week's digital code giveaway. In every single video that we do on Friday, I ask you guys 2 digital code giveaway questions. All you have to do is answer one of those in the comment section below, and as long as you do that, you come back to this video right here. I put your name on a magic wheel. I spin that bad boy 2 times. The 2 names it lands on, they have their choice of the digital codes that you've seen on your screen before you today. And guys, without further ado, let's see who won this week's digital code giveaway. Alright, congratulations to our channel members, John Doe Juggalo and Mr. Smelly Potato. John Doe Juggalo is a channel producer, and Mr. Smelly Potato is a bankroll member. That was like right on the line, a little bit ridiculous, so we'll give you guys both a digital code. Obviously, you guys know how to reach out to me. And then Snowy Days, congratulations, you've won a digital code in the past as well. You same thing, reach out to me, my email address, letstalkentmt@gmail.com, or you can always direct message me on Facebook, Instagram, or the artist formerly known as Twitter. You know, I check those things a little bit less than I check the email, so it might be a little bit longer of a wait, but anyway, I'll get you guys those digital codes. We gotta, refill the digital codes, though. We're kind of running out. The choices are not the greatest at the moment. I see my cousin Matt usually at the end of March. I see my cousin Matt at least once a month. Usually he gives me all his digital codes, the one who used to run the channel with me. Still supports the digital code giveaway, so I'll probably go pick up some digital codes from him. And then, if anything goes on sale, like Galaxy Quest went on sale, that came with a digital code, we'll grab that as well. But hopefully we refill these up a little bit more as time goes on. And guys, we also do channel members physical media giveaways at least once a month, and for the month of April, for any of our channel members of the producers are higher, so that's anyone from John Doe Juggalo, Uncle V, Kevin Kruger, Nicholas Head, Mr. Smelly Potato, and Frank from Frank's Media Reviews. Right now, those are the members who are entered into our physical media giveaway. And this month will be the giving away Nosferatu on 4K Blu-ray, Pulp Fiction on 4K, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, The Ring in a 4K Steelbook. This is just the Blu-ray though, but the 4K Steelbook's nice. Color Out of Space, The Lost Boys, 2012, and The Core. So if you win our monthly physical media giveaway, which will be the first Tuesday in April, which again, I'm pretty sure is April 1st, so April Fool's Day, that'll be our physical media giveaway for our channel members. And you'll have your choice of one of those if you happen to win that giveaway. But guys, if you got no money to throw away, don't worry about it all. All we hope is that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, try and throw it a like, try and subscribe to the channel, and also share the video if you could. Get the word out there. But again, don't worry about it. We just hope you enjoyed it. So if you did, get out in those streets, tell your friends about us, and then we'll be seeing you around.